It's almost 5 o'clock.
See, so that it is true. It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
And I just got off a call with Thomas and hopefully our newest agent in Puerto Rico. So we're celebrating a little success.
I love it. I love it. Chris is in Spain. His partner's in, I don't know, Brazil maybe this time. He changes.
Somewhere in South America. I can't keep up.
Somewhere. All right. Sorry, guys. Took me a minute. All right. Good morning. I'm super, super excited to see all of you this morning. Happy Friday huddle. Today's going to be fun because I think I've had so many people reaching out to me saying, oh my gosh, I just saw this announcement and I just saw this announcement. EXP is doing so many amazing things and I don't know what this means, right? So we are doing some amazing, amazing things and I'm super fired up. And what we always want to do in these meetings is just bring that value and bring the people that have more of the details and open it up for Q&A. So today's a little bit different. We're not really talking production. We're talking about attraction. And we're talking about the Boost program and the Accelerator program and all the great things that EXP Corporate has to offer for all of us as we're out in the industry, talking to friends, talking to brokerages, talking to teams. And so today I have Felix, who's Director of Growth in Florida, but then also Tony King, who many of you guys know, and I won't be sad or bitter. I love Tony. Tony's one of my favorite people in this company. He used to be our state broker in Texas. We used to brag all the time that Texas turned it around. Our broker teams were the ones to watch and everybody else needed to fall in line. And they were watching and saw what Tony did. And then they promoted him. So now he's big wig. He's one of the directors of growth. We're very blessed in Texas to have him here, but they can talk to agents all over the country. So I'm going to turn this off. I'm bringing in Tony on teams, on independent brokerages. But today, what I want them to talk about is really the different programs that are being launched out, the different opportunities, because that's really the big word is opportunity. And so this is what I want them to come and share, and then we'll have time to open it up for questions because I know you guys are going to have a ton of questions and I hope you'll be as excited as I am after this meeting. So Tony and Felix, thank you guys for being here. Welcome to Friday Huddle. And I'm going to let you guys take it from here. Do y'all need sharing capability yet you know what, I'm just going to give it to you. Let's just do that. All right. The floor is yours.
Tony, you got such a good introduction. I feel like you should go first.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I'm so excited. Thank you so much, Elizabeth, for inviting me. My gosh, I wish you'd stop bringing up my past. I don't want to talk about past anymore. I'm only talking about future. I'm talking about
proud of you though. Like you're amazing.
only want to talk about growth. Only want to talk about the future. The past is the past. So I am looking forward to the amazing things that we are doing at this company, specifically in Texas, but across the entire company, right? So I know that, Elizabeth, your organization spans so wide and so deep that you got folks all over the place. And yes, we are doing some incredible things. We've got the Accelerate program, which, you know, a part of the Accelerate is I like to call it the Never Left program, which is really cool. But, you know, there's a few kind of coin phrases that are going around there, but I like Never Left, and I might trademark that one. But in any event, I'll talk about that here in a minute. We got the Boost program, which is absolutely incredible. These are things, by the way, y'all, that we have never done in the history of EXP, right? So, and I don't know how long we're going to continue doing them, but if you have someone that's on the fence, and hopefully it sounds like Elizabeth opened up the gates for me to talk about attraction, because that's what I get fired up about. We talk about production too, of course, but man, you know, we are doing some things that have never been done in the history of EXP with Boost, with Accelerate, with the Never Left, and it's just, it is having a huge impact. We've already got, you know, tons of people in the Boost pipeline. We've also already just approved our very first Boost brokerage to come on board as well. So that has been incredible. And it's just, it is amazing to see and to think about where we're headed from here. So yeah, that's it for now. I'll come back and give a few more details, but Felix, take it, brother.
Yeah, thanks, Tony. And thank you, Elizabeth, for having us and for inviting us. Elizabeth was little insider information here. She's kind of the whole reason I'm at EXP in the first place. So many people have tried to get me to come to EXP and I just never wanted to pick up their calls and hear them out. But the minute I got on a call with Elizabeth, I was like, I know I got to do this. So big thank you to her. I'm super excited to be here, super excited to talk about growth. Tony's right. Boost and Accelerate are massive, and they're going to be huge in terms of attraction for you guys. And we'd love to kind of deep into it a little bit more. I don't know what you guys already know about Boost, but if you've seen that we've already brought someone over on Boost to the Bean Group, which was a 600 agent team, and that's the kind of stuff that without Boost, I don't think we get that deal done. Definitely not. So that's the kind of level of advantage that having these programs gives you guys. And so I'd be more than happy to kind of break down into it and talk about Boost, talk about Accelerate, and get you guys fired up. So any questions that you guys may have, or Elizabeth, do you want us to just kind of walk through the programs?
Yeah, I would love for you to walk through the programs. I have a different seat because I'm very familiar with them because of the meetings and the calls I'm in. I guarantee you 99% of the people in this room probably have no idea what any of this terminology means. So I would love for us to just take a step back, explain all the different programs, explain all the different opportunities, and I think that's going to spur some questions.
I can't find my orange notebook. That's really my business one.
Okay, and you guys, Jill's
Typically.
gonna find her orange notebook, and then y'all all mute out.
Sorry.
Yeah, so let's talk about I guess let's talk about Accelerate. And Tony, what'd you call it? The welcome back or the never left? The never left.
See, there's another one. I mean,
Yeah.
these acronyms are popping all over the place. You can call it the welcome back program if you want. I don't think there's a name for it yet.
So for Accelerate, it's a huge for attraction. And what it's really doing is basically any agent coming on board to EXP who's new to EXP, who has never been in the EXP system before. That is like the kicker. They have to be a completely brand new agent to the EXP system. They will walk in with basically 10 imaginary FLQAs. And so they have their first 2 or 3 front lines open, which is awesome because it lets agents come in and start kind of tasting that revenue share right off the bat. So if you have these small teams of 5 or 6 or 7, and you want to entice that team leader to come on board, they're going to be walking in right off the bat with 10 FLQAs. So they're going to be getting rev share month 1, which is massive.
Do y'all understand what that means? Do you guys understand what that means? Tell me, give me no. It's okay to say no. This is what this is. Okay, so we've got to go all the way back there. We're talking higher level. We need to go deep into what FLQA. I talk about it a little bit, but can you explain it from this vantage point?
Yeah, sure. So frontline agents are going to be, so are these, just so I get a better understanding, this is my first time on this call. Everyone who's here on this call, are you guys EXP agents? Are you guys, yes, okay.
This is our Friday huddle just for our group that spans all over the place. So we usually only talk production, but again, like I said, there's all these programs and acronyms and things that are being thrown out that people don't understand. And instead of me trying to explain it one-on-one, it's better coming from the growth team.
Yeah. So you guys know that how revenue share works is you bring someone on board, you're their sponsor, and then they're in your first tier, and that's your front line. So those are your frontline agents. In order for you to unlock the different tiers, like tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, you have to have a certain amount of FLQAs. So frontline agents who qualify, which basically means they're agents that have capped. So sometimes it's tough because you come into EXP and you're ready to grow, and you might bring on board one person who brings on board 5 or 6, but you don't have access to those tier 2, tier 3s. And Tony, if you think you can explain this a little easier, feel free to hop in at any point. But that is the problem that Accelerate is really solving. It's going to benefit any new agent who joins EXP, and any returning agent not participating in the bounce back program, basically. But Accelerate is really designed to reduce barriers and incentivize newly joining agents to grow their organizations, right? So by automatically opening revenue shares, so tiers 2 and 3, these agents can really focus their attention on their production while welcoming highly productive agents to the company, and not and day 1 walking in and immediately taking advantage of that revenue share. So that's kind of the high level overview of it. And if you guys want to deep into it a little bit more, feel free to jump in and ask me questions.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm happy to chime in here too. I think that's a great job, Felix. So when it comes to the FLQA portion, this is a productive agent, right? That you have sponsored, someone that's producing, and from that person, when they produce, you will receive revenue share if you are in that person's sponsorship tree or their upline, so to speak. Just between us, we'll call it an upline. We don't use that term, externally, right? But if that person produces, you get to participate in revenue share. So what happens is when someone comes on board and they automatically have 10 FOQAs, that's going to open up level 2 and level 3 for any new agent coming to EXP, allowing them to take advantage of the revenue share in both the expansion share as well as the other side of the revenue share. So that's what's great when they recruit someone or when they attract someone that becomes a productive agent and thus qualifying as a FOQA. Now, what's important to remember is that that's for 12 months. So 12 months from the day that they start, they have 10 FOQAs right then and there. So it really gives them a boost, for lack of a better term. It gives them a shot in the arm where they can now go work and backfill those, because at the end of that 12 months, they're only going to have however many people they brought on board. So ideally, it allows them to kind of backfill and get those 10 spots filled up so that they can stay in their level 2, level 3 on down. Now, the other cool thing, and who this really benefits, this is not a direct, immediate financial impact for just your kind of independent agent that comes through, because until they bring someone that actually produces, there is no rev share generated. Excuse me, if that makes sense. So who this really benefits and who the huge opportunity is for a team lead, let's say, because they can take advantage of some of the stacking and some of the opportunities that open up level 2, level 3 for everyone they bring on. So let's say that I'm a team lead and I have 5 agents on my team. Okay, so I come on board, and yes, I have 10 levels opened up, or 10 levels, 10 spots opened up for levels 2 and 3. But more importantly, I have 5 agents now, and each one of those 5 agents is going to have those two levels opened up. So that's going to be incredible. I mean, instantly multiplying the ability of those team leads to really get a taste of rev share much quicker than they would having to come on board and then start to get their agents productive, start to try to get them matriculated into EXP systems, and then try to get them working on traction. It's just as a real shot in the arm, a booster shot, a vitamin B, whatever it is, energy shot to help them get going, and get fired up about attraction. Because how many people on this call have generated rev share in some portion? Okay, most people on this call, right? Does something change when you get that first rev share check? Raise your hand if there was like a click or something, or that the light bulb came on when that first rev share, it became real, right? Like it's a real thing. And then it happens again once your first rev share check has a comma in it. Something else clicks and you're like, hey, this might actually be a thing, right? I could actually probably do this, and you start turning your gear. So that's really what this is designed to do, is A, get that first rev share check quicker, and then B, to get a comma in that rev share check quicker, so that you really start seeing that this is a huge opportunity and for people to take advantage of. Right now, the other
let me jump in there really quick,
go
Tony.
ahead. Yep.
One thing that I want you guys to recognize is most companies have so much overhead. They have bricks and mortar. They have so many people on salary. They have so much overhead that there's not a lot of money that flows back to the agents. Okay. With our company, because of how we are structured and how this company is built, we don't have all that overhead. And so instead of all that money coming in each month, going up to corporate and just sitting in an account, what our company does, if you don't understand this, they take 50% of the revenue every single month, and 50% goes to corporate, for salaries, for overhead, for anything we have there. But the other 50% cascades out to the agents that have helped grow the company, even with one agent. Okay, so that's where the opportunity is. You don't have to go out and be a recruiter. But what happens is when we're all talking about production and we're all growing our businesses and we're all building a better life, people see that and they're watching that and they're like, hey, Stacy, I want to be, what are you guys doing over there? I want to be a part of that. They come because you have influence or people follow people, and 50% of that revenue is going out to everybody, including you. So this is not like creating a job for you, but the opportunity Tony's talking about is huge, because our company is rewarding us in a different way because we're structured differently than other companies. So that's where this revenue share is coming. You can still be in production, stay in production, build your business. That's why we're so focused on production. But there's this extra like icing on the cake. If you bring people over, that's where this money's coming from.
Absolutely. And it's short game, long game, I think, as Brent Gov calls it, or Gov. He says, look, yes, absolutely. You're an agent. At the end of the day, you should be out selling houses and being productive. That's your short game, but also spend a little bit of time working on the long game, because as you are interacting with agents and as you're engaging your day-to-day practice of real estate, you are coming into interaction with agents all day long, right? So why not, at the end of that closed transaction, that's an opportunity. Hey, let's grab lunch or let's chat. You don't even have to bring up EXP. Matter of fact, I recommend you don't bring up EXP, right? Just have a chat with them. Hey, how are things going? How's business, right? And just network. Use that as an opportunity to network, or invite them to an event. Hey, listen, I really like the way you do business. We did that deal on Main Street, a couple weeks ago. We're actually having a really cool broker agnostic, and it's not a recruiting thing, but we have a social media, AHA club or whatever it is. And, I want to give you a free invite. I can get you a ticket. I like the way you do business, and, maybe we can network, meet some people that are, growing their social media, stuff like that. And don't even have to bring up EXP. Let them bring up EXP, and then you get the opportunity to tell them about this, tell them about Boost, tell them about all the incredible things that are out there. So I love the fact that Elizabeth is always hyper-focused on production. I've got a few funny stories about Elizabeth in that regard, but I love and respect that. One of the things that is so important, that many attractors, many alphas, many top producers, I think, don't keep in mind, excluding Elizabeth, is one of the most important questions is, if everyone in my organization did what I'm doing today, or if everyone in my organization did what I did, what would the impact be on the company, or what would the impact be on that organization? Right. So, you have some of these alphas, have some of these detractors are like, oh, stop selling houses, never sell houses, only recruit. Right? It's like, but if everyone did that, no one would still make any money, right? Because there isn't any money generated until someone starts producing. So I love that about Elizabeth and her team. And they're always kind of realizing that focus should be on production, because that's where all the money comes from. And then, of course, to her earlier point, when that money comes in, it's split 50-50, right? So EXP, we run this whole company on 50 cents on the dollar. Unlike some of these other companies that run on like negative 100% of the dollar, which we won't go there. So so that in a nutshell. Oh, one more thing about the Accelerate program that I'll bring up is, not only are we doing this for all new agents that come to EXP, right? This is huge. Not only is that for everyone new coming in for 12 months, we're going backwards in time. We're hopping in the time machine and going backwards 6 months. So if anyone has joined your organization since March 1st gets to take advantage of this exact same thing, they're actually automatically enrolled in it. So we're automatically going to unlock levels 2 and 3 for anyone that comes on board, or has come on board since March 1st. So yeah, I mean, we've never done anything like this. Like I said, I don't know how long it's going to last, which is why we're doing it. Like, hey, get out there, start talking to people about this. Because I don't know. I mean, this is something incredible for sure.
Tony, I have a quick question.
Sure.
On the program. So it states that it lasts the first 12 months that they join eXp Realty. So my question is, for agents that have joined already in March 1st, imagine an agent that joined March 1st. Does he have, since the beginning of the program, 12 months from that, or does the 12 months already started in March 1st?
So Felix, I know there was someone had asked this question before. Do you recall? I believe that it's going to be from their start date. Is that correct? So that they're going to take advantage of the remaining 6 months?
Yeah, that is the case.
Yeah.
Okay.
Felix keeps me honest. He takes all of
And
it. I get so excited, and then I like walk away and I forget to listen to the details. Sorry, go ahead. Who had it? Tomas?
Can you say that again, guys? So if they started March 1st, they
March
get
1st.
They goes to March 1st.
Correct.
If they start October 1st, it goes another 12 months.
October. If they start October 1st, then it'll go October 1st of 2024.
And if I can just add something, it's just because we have agents in our organization here and I want to make sure it's clear. And you guys mentioned that an FLQA is an agent that caps, but an FLQA
It's
is an agent that
productive.
It's production.
A, a,
sorry.
a
It's an
productive
agent.
agent. Yeah.
FLQA, Chris, or Tomas, FLQA is 5,000 GCI every 6 months.
Yeah, I know what it is.
It doesn't have to be a capper. Okay.
I was just clarifying. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So productive agent is So
Super
all
cool.
right. One other thing that about this program, and again, it's kind of looped into the same program, whether we call it Welcome Back, whether we call it Never Left, whatever we want to call it. This is an opportunity to insert. So we have agents that have left EXP. Most of them begrudgingly or have now come to regret that decision. And I know this for a fact because I'm on the phone with a lot of them all the time. And now what we've done is we have rolled out the red carpet for them and say, hey, come on back. And we will reinsert you into your position in the revenue share program if you come back to EXP. So again, jaws dropping, I see eyes widening, right? Yes, that is, again, never happened. And now we're doing it, right? So we are, and really the thought process, I was listening to a podcast, actually just this morning. If you're not subscribed to Alex Hermosi's podcast, that guy's a beast, man. So does anyone follow Alex Hermosi? Anybody know about this guy? Yeah. So anyways, he was talking about on the podcast that I was listening to, an archive one, about whether you focus on the competition or you focus on your clients, right? In this case, our agents. And he talks about that story with Michael Phelps when he's going against this other guy, and there's this meme that's went viral now, where Michael Phelps is like swimming and he's focused on the goal, and then this other guy that had been talking all this smack about how he was going to beat Michael Phelps was looking at Michael Phelps while he's swimming, right? And Michael's fixed on the goal and he's fixed on the competition. So the question is, and I know that we've got LPTs out there, we got the Reels out there, we got these other brokerages out there, and I don't know, we have a temptation to look at what the competitors are doing or try to keep up with them or focus on what they're doing, when our reality is that our gaze and our fires should be focused on how do we make EXP the very best brokerage, and how do we focus and become intentional and be on fire about our agents and creating opportunities for them. So that's what this is about. This is creating opportunities to bring agents back that have left, that regretted, and knocking down hurdles, knocking down objections, knocking down any reason why someone that left EXP would not want to come back to EXP. So that's what this is. We're going to slide them right back into their revenue share position wherever they were at. Now, you can't take advantage, to Felix's point about both. You can't take advantage of both of these. You can either come in as a new agent, or you can come back into your previous position in rev share. So this is huge. If you have someone that now has come to regret because they've seen the explosive growth that we've had, they've seen all the ways that we've improved, they've seen, the amazingness of EXP compared to, the bill of goods that they got sold, the smoke and the mirrors to go over there. And they're like, oh my gosh, like this is a house of cards. Like they don't have anything figured out. Come on back. We'll put you right back in the same spot. Again, huge deal for EXP and a huge opportunity.
Yeah, y'all, if you don't understand kind of how it's been in the past, if you leave EXP, so say Tony's in my front line, he's not, but say Tony's in my front line and he leaves EXP, but he brought all of you guys on, that spot doesn't go anywhere. All those people stay. So Tony typically would have lost his whole downline, his whole revenue share that he had built. That was always the goal, not the goal. That was always the process in the past. What this has done now, because there's a lot of people, especially that came on when I came on, like we were growing organically and they left for whatever reason, got out of the business, went somewhere else. And I had somebody who joined when I did, who happened to come to our meeting this week. She's like, I miss y'all. I want to come back. Well, she has an opportunity now to come back and slide back in where she was and get her line back, which never happened before. That's huge. Jeff asked, well, what if you don't want to be in that line? Like Tony said, you can come back as another agent, name another sponsor. The rule with EXP is you have to be gone from EXP for at least 6 months before you can name another sponsor. If you're gone for 4 months and come back, you go under the same sponsor.
But Elizabeth, what happens then to the recruiting line, right? So Elizabeth, you recruit Tony. Tony, as everyone else here, he leaves, but then is recruited by another agent. But like Elizabeth, right now you're benefiting from the revenue share from the team, even though Tony's not here. But then what if Tony chooses another sponsor when he comes back?
His
Do
line
you lose
still,
it?
nope, his line stays where it was. Lines do not move.
So,
So
So
if Tony
where-
comes in and names you, but he
Yeah.
has if he has 50 people under him, so it's me and then Tony, and Tony has 50 people.
Yeah.
Tony leaves, that spot that Tony leaves doesn't move. It just goes to corporate. So whatever that income would go to corporate, but everybody else still stays where they are. If Tony comes back and slides back in there, he gets his rev share back. If Tony goes and names you instead, that line still stays where it is under me, and Tony's starting from ground zero.
okay. Okay,
So you, Tony's
it
line,
is-
but Tony doesn't get it anymore.
That's correct. I would still keep Tony's line because he
Okay.
didn't come back in that line. Correct. The
Okay.
lines do not move.
So the agents
Now,
need to
I'll-
come back to the same sponsor.
Say that again?
I'll say this. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. What was your question, Tomas?
I'm saying for agents to benefit the welcome back or the never left, they need to come back with the exact same sponsor.
Correct, because they're going to be in that same
Okay.
tree, right? It's like you never left, right? So that's why.
But
So you're going to bring them right back.
But Tomas, if you left and you never had anybody in your organization anyway, that doesn't matter where you come back. You can come back to your original sponsor, or you can name somebody new, because you don't have anybody. It's the people that had an organization before, where it's allowing you to come back in where that wasn't the case before.
Right. Or you come in and say, hey, just open up my first 2 levels. Let me start, not even from scratch. Now we're starting with, 10 FLQAs, right? So that's
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's there's no better time for attraction. We're coming up on attraction season, right? This is the season where people make moves, they make shifts as we head into the fall and Q4. People are looking to make a move sometimes, because as business is slowing down, they're starting to take stock of what happened over 2023. Man, I made less money this year than I did last year. This is not a good look. What am I missing? And this is the conversations to be engaging with folks as you're having your just basic conversations, as you're in the day-to-day business operations. So
Well, and what's happening, what we're seeing too, is the other companies, nothing against them, they're just different models.
Yeah.
They're not doing well financially. So what's happening is they're changing splits and they're increasing fees, and they're going after the agents' commissions and agents' money to be able to
keep the doors
survive.
open. Yeah.
Correct. So that's opening up all these conversations. I mean, I think I'm on calls with Tony daily. People are reaching out organically, calling us. They're all like, we've got people on LOIs that are coming over. We've got independent brokerages where on the outside looking in, y'all, everybody is peachy keen and everything's great. But what's happening is they're all struggling and they're all looking at a solution, and EXP makes the most sense and is a huge solution. So that's where the Boost program comes in. So what's cool is EXP is a solution for many, and we have different options depending on what the situation is for an agent, and we're not just one size fits all. So Tony, can you talk about Boost too? And then when all of this comes back around, we're going to have a lot more questions.
Absolutely. So
And
Boost.
real quick, Eddie, Boost and Accelerator program are 2 different things.
Yeah. So, and Michael broke this down Barney style for me, because sometimes he has to explain things like I'm a golden retriever, because like I get excitable. So A is for agent, right? So the Accelerate program is for agents. B is for brokerages. It's Boost. I think he did that just for me. So yes, there's the Boost program, which is for brokerages, independent brokerages, not franchises, by the way, not not teams. These are specific for brokerages. Now, if you got a team, talk to me. We can maybe work something out that's like Boost or Boost Light, as I'm calling it. But if it's a true boost, that's only going to be for a independent brokerage. Now, the independent brokerage needs to have 50 agents and 100 million in revenue. So we're talking about a big brokerage, big independent brokerage, by the way. I can't highlight that enough. And what we're not doing is buying brokerages. We're not that other company that shall remain nameless, where we're buying brokerages, right? We're not doing that. We are making it a smooth transition. So, you put yourself in the position of, like Elizabeth is talking about, this brokerage that on by all external viewings, it looks like they're doing well. They got 50, 60, 75 agents, or 500 agents, sometimes huge brokerages. And externally, it looks like they're doing great, but internally, you look under the hood and things are on fire. Things don't look so great. But there's a huge hurdle, right? I mean, I got to order new signs. You know, I can't imagine the lock boxes. I got to do like there's a lot that goes into trying to move a large brokerage at that scale. Okay, so what we're doing is we are decreasing some of that burden, at least financially, and helping them smooth that transition to come over to EXP. So I don't want to get too much into kind of what the details are, but basically what we do is we evaluate how much that company would be worth at EXP, how much company dollar would come to EXP, and then we are able to effectively write a check. Now it's going to be split up over a few payments, but we'll effectively write a check for that brokerage to make it easier for them to come over to EXP. So it's a huge incentive. I can tell you, 6-7 figures in many cases on what that looks like.
And guys, the key here, this is so important, is independent brokerages, not a team at, I know, but it's not teams at Compass, not, a group at KW, because there's something called tortious interference and we can all get sued. Okay, so that is why it's so critical. If you're not sure, come to me, ask me, go to Tony, go to Felix, go to the growth team, but that is super critical to keep in mind, right? If there's a team at Compass that wants to come over, like that's a whole nother conversation. That's a whole different process. Typically what happens there is, just so y'all know, typically what happens there is there's a sponsor intake form. So say Julia has a team that wants to look at the productivity, the production numbers from their current and EXP numbers, and they want to compare apples to apples, right? So what happens is you will fill out this sponsor intake form. Then you schedule a 15-minute conversation with one of the growth teams or growth VPs like Tony or some of the other ones around the country. And then from there, they'll send you a Google spreadsheet that's it's a production intake form. And then you send that to the team. The teams will fill it all out with all their splits because every team is set up differently. Okay. And so we can't compare apples to apples unless we know exactly how they pay their agents or they have their splits or what have you, or their fees. So they'll fill it out for every single agent and then submit it. And our growth team and our finance team comes together and they do an analysis and they do an apples to apples side-by-side comparison. They set up a call with the team leads to discuss those numbers. All of this is NDA. So if you're talking to teams, let them know this is all NDA. If this never goes anywhere, nobody's ever going to know we had this conversation. Right. Yeah. So that is critical to know that it all just stays internal. But then we get on a call and what happens is then they can say, well, I don't know if I want to be a self-organized team, or I don't know if I want to be a standard team or a mega icon team, or how would it look for rev share? How would it look for stock? And so our finance teams do a whole analysis so they truly understand financially what that picture looks like for them and the opportunity. And we have a number, we have a number of people that are coming over, teams and independent brokerages, but that's a whole different process than the Boost program. So the Boost program is just independent brokerages that are looking to make a move. And here's another reason: they're losing their agents. I met with one yesterday for 3 hours. He has an independent brokerage here in Austin, 9 agents, and he realized, he's like, oh my gosh, I spent all this time training them. And then, they went over to this company or they went to this company. I said, you're training your competition. And he said, I never recognized that or never realized that, but that's exactly what I'm doing. I was like, let me show you how that's the opposite of what you're doing here at EXP. Like, we want to encourage you to build them, and they build a team and do all these other things. And so he's tired of losing people and then having to recruit. That's not why he wants to be in the business. That's why most brokers don't want to be in the business to just sit there and recruit and train, right? They're trying to make money and none of them are making money. So we have a huge solution no matter what their scenario and situation is. And if you guys don't know who to talk to or what route to go, always call me, text me, put it in our chat, and we'll make sure you're connected to the right person.
Yeah. One other thing that I'll make sure to kind of emphasize on as we're talking about is needs to be independent brokerage. Yes. And the foundation of all this, by the way, is that it has to be someone that's culturally aligned with EXP. Right. Yep. So this is not like a I don't know, right off into the sunset. Like, hey, I'm this old worn out broker and I really just want, to sell my brokerage. I don't plan on growing. I don't plan on doing anything. I just want to put all this under EXP right off into the sunset. No, we need culturally aligned brokerages that are willing to incorporate into EXP and has similar visions in terms of their brokerage and where EXP is going. So we have to emphasize that as well, because that's really where this whole process starts, is with the cultural alignment form that they're going to fill out, and then everything that Elizabeth said, is the pathway.
There is, Tony, did you talk about the qualifiers for Boost?
Just again, I don't want to get into too much in terms of the details, but if you have a big team, like I said, 50 plus agents and 100 million, that's kind of the starting point, and then we'll look at cultural alignment stuff from there.
The good news is you guys don't have to remember necessarily all of this by yourself. Like, if you have someone on the hook, you don't have to get in there and trip yourself over, trying to remember everything. That's what we're here for. That's what the Grow team is here for. Leverage us, tie us into the conversations. Once they know about EXP and they kind of understand our model, that's when you can bring us in and we'll start breaking everything down, and we'll do all that heavy lifting to make sure we get them over the board for you, or across the board. But don't feel like you have to come in here and like learn all these programs, every single step of them, and you have to pitch them, and you're not in the business of recruitment, right? You guys are all producing agents, you want to be producers. So that's what we're here for.
Right. And that's what I was going to say too. One of the things I love doing, and I mean, there's a lot of y'all on here that you just call me like, hey, can you talk to somebody? And what's cool is we are focused on production. We are focused on being the best agents in the industry and elevating the industry. But I mean, I'll call her out right now. Lindy called me the other day. She's like, I've got this awesome producer that just reached out to me. I've done a deal with him. Can you get on a call? And we met with him, and there's huge opportunity for him. And you don't have to do the heavy lifting, right? You'll just pull in the right people that can help you answer those questions. You can, I mean, easily you can say, you know what, I don't know all the details. I'm just focused on my day-to-day and my business, but let me pull in somebody that can help you. So that's where you leverage all of us. Leverage me. Like I said, if I don't know the answers, I know who to go to, and then we can get you in front of the right people. Is this helpful?
Absolutely. And, the other piece, of course, is you've all got at least, one sponsor. In many cases, you've got 6 sponsors, right? That all have a vested interest in seeing you succeed, which is why the growth has been so incredible at EXP. You've got 7 people that have a vested interest, plus Elizabeth, plus, obviously Felix and I and everyone on the growth team. There's no shortage of people that you can bring into a call to help them, answer any questions, or, don't let that stop you from having a conversation or starting a conversation.
All of mine are screwed because they only have like 3 of us. If you guys are in my group, we don't have much of an upline. However, we have we do, but
we got a community.
Glenn Stanford's a little busy, right? So you guys are all in his direct line. So, but we have so many resources and people and all of this other stuff. But to Tony's point, we've got all these people in our line, up and down, sideways, all around. And I mean, you just see what our meetings are on a weekly basis. So Tony, I'm totally kidding there, but don't start reaching out to Glenn. He might beat us. What questions? Go ahead.
Yeah, let me just say one other thing, and I may end up regretting this, but I love Elizabeth Riley, and I love anyone that has to do with Elizabeth. So don't make me regret this. One cool thing about the Never Left program that on a case-by-case basis, that I found out that we can do, if you have someone that's left EXP and you think that, they're a major influencer, and you'd like to know how much rev share they're missing out on, hit me up. We can take a look and we can make that a part of the conversation, right? So that really changes the dynamic, right? If we're able to go back and say, listen, over the last 12 months, brother, look at how much rev share you missed out on. Or by the way, if you come in right now, the next payment is going to be about this, or this is what you could probably expect. So that again changes the whole dynamic in terms of what we're able to do. But that's just for the 33 people. I'm going to take a screenshot of the 33 people on this call. That's the only people I'm doing it for, and 1 or 2 other beta tests that I'm seeing. If that makes a major shift in the Never Left program. So sorry if you're watching this on replay. I can't help you. I'm only doing.
You got to be here.
You should have been here live.
Be there, be square, right?
Listen, it's FOMO. Next time, be here next Friday, right?
That's right. Every Friday, y'all. Every Friday. Okay, let's open it for questions. What questions do y'all have? Because you've got 2 of our corporate leaders here that are focused on what's most beneficial for y'all in the next 20 minutes.
Okay, I have a question.
Lindy, you're in the matrix. Try again.
Okay, can you see me, hear me?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. I am actually headed to go meet with Keller Williams team leader, and I think the Accelerator program is awesome. I told both Elizabeth and Tony last week that it came out at the perfect time for me. Is there any extra paperwork or documentation that I should be showing him? I'm going to go over obviously our chart that we already have for rev share, but is there anything additional that you think is important I get in front of him today before? I mean, I'm going to get him hooked up with you guys at growth also, but is there anything that would benefit me today to show him?
No, I don't have anything. There's really only the press release because this is so brand new and off the presses. Unless Felix, you know of something, the only thing I've seen is the press release. But if you just explain to them that they'll have their first 2 levels as you're showing them the kind of revenue share infographic, explaining it, you know, is typically enough.
And
I
Lindy,
can
ask
handle that.
and ask a lot of questions. Just figure out the pebble in their shoe and what they're trying to solve for. But yeah, to Tony's point, if you're showing the rev share, like just say, look, it's when you get to level 3, you have to have 10 qualifiers, but you're not having to do that. You've got them opened all the way, and then see what questions he has, write them all down and just say, okay, let me get the right person for you on these. And then we can address all of them at once.
Okay, that's great.
Go get them.
Hey,
I
thanks.
love it. I know Lindy's been on a roll lately. She's like, they're coming out of nowhere. But again, she's a multi-icon. She's attracting because of the production that she's doing, right? And she's interacting with agents on other sides of transactions all the time. And it makes a difference. People are curious. They're watching what we're doing and they start asking the questions. I've never reached out to anybody, y'all. They all asked me questions, and it opens up for a relationship. What else? I know you guys have a lot of questions because you guys ask me all the time.
We left them speechless, Felix.
Right?
I think
Speechless.
someone asked, can you walk us through, Jessica, can you walk us through the attracting process / steps for an independent agent? So
What's
just
the-
like a single agent that you want to bring over to EXP, basically. If that's the case, I would say I took a lot of EXP calls before finally making the move over. And a lot of times the EXP calls I would be on were just a couple people who were trying to sell me this like lottery ticket of, hey, if you come on board, we've got this crazy rev share and like, look at what you're doing here and doing there. And you're going to make $1 million in a year if you do. And I was just like, whoa, like that sounds great, but none of that matters because tomorrow I still got a shitty CRM. And tomorrow I still got to figure out how I'm going to get the best marketing materials. And I still got to figure out how I'm going to pick up more clients. And so the advice I always give coming from the growth perspective and when talking to independent agents or attraction is you're really just trying to find out like what problems they're having. We're all agents. We're all trying to produce. Everybody's trying to move their business forward, and they're experiencing the same day-to-day problems that you guys have. And a lot of those problems can be solved here at EXP. But most of the time when recruiters are calling agents, they're not asking them, it doesn't seem like they care about really what the problems that they're facing are. And so when I spoke to Elizabeth, and I was like, oh, great, here we go, like another EXP call. And Elizabeth's first thing was like, she just started asking me questions, and we had like a human conversation about what was going on in my life. And you know, how she was really trying to understand how I get my business, what I was doing. And that's what made the biggest difference to me, because all of a sudden I was like, oh, okay, like this makes sense. Like there's a community, there's a heart at EXP of people who actually want to help me and want to help one another. And we're really trying to find ways to better our business. And then all the stuff comes later. If you're only focused on EXP and you're only focused on what tools and resources we have, you're going to have a hard time because you're just going to come across as a recruiter. But if you're spending time and talking to these agents and trying to figure out how you can help them in their day-to-day and understand their problems, that's when you can really bring in value. And I would always just say, take that approach instead of just reading off a list of like tech that EXP has or a list of programs, right? You can get to that later, and that'll really help. But first, just try to understand what kind of issues they're facing, and then we can come up with solutions for those.
Yeah. No, if I can add there, I mean, that's the nail on the head as well. I mean, I call it shifting the spotlight, right? When the spotlight, if you have this kind of imaginary spotlight, right? And when the spotlight is on you, really the only thing that it shows, yes, you're highlighted, but the only thing that shows is your flaws, really. When you shift the spotlight to being on them, it allows them to show where their holes are and where their cracks are in their business. So you want to keep the spotlight focused on them as much as humanly possible, and have them and really talk about what's going on in your business, right? What's wrong? What's the problem? To Felix's point, right? What's the problem that we're trying to solve here? Where are you trying to go with the real estate business in the next 3-5 years? Where do you see yourself? Are you on pace to get there? How's your broker supporting you in getting there? Right. And asking them the questions, because really that's all they care about. They don't care about EXP. I mean, to be just blunt, right? They care about themselves and their business. And EXP is a means to the end. The EXP is the ability to get them to where they want to go. That's why the emphasis has to be on them and where they want to go. And then it also makes for a much easier conversation, because you don't have to figure out and memorize all of these different things. All you need to know is the one answer to the one question they have, right? Which is, my gosh, I'm struck. Like I spoke to someone yesterday. My kid's sick and I don't know what I'm going to do, right? The only thing we talked about was healthcare. Didn't bring up rev share, didn't bring up, because again, all that stuff would have confused them and they'd have been, probably left. But the only thing they wanted to know was about the healthcare. So that's all we talked about, was how cool EXP healthcare was. And whatever it is that is the hole they're trying to fill, that's the hole that you want to solve for, right? What's the question that we're trying to answer? Would be my suggestion. Does that help?
Yeah, I always say find the pebble in their shoe. I mean, I've told many of you this. When I met with Glenn Sanford, it's kind of funny. All he talked about was rev share. And I told Glenn Sanford, I'm not interested in rev share. He just assumed, because I was at KW and I had a number of people under me, he just assumed that I was interested in rev share. What he did not understand was that my organization at KW was drowning me, because I had these agents and KW didn't have the resources to help them or the people. And so I ended up creating my own small job, kind of a mini broker, if you will. And I wanted to get as far away from that as possible. So he was kind of surprised by that. We continued the conversation. And then he realized that, oh, you're interested in stock. Well, why are you interested in stock? Well, I'm interested in stock because I'm a top producer, and every single year I get a baseball cap that says capper. And that's not going to allow me to retire or get off the hamster wheel, right? So if you start talking to somebody about something, they'll just tune you out, because that's not interesting. I didn't really understand the rev share piece, quite frankly. I understood profit share, but I didn't understand his vision and what that could look like. I mean, I've changed my tune since then, obviously, but my point is, even Glenn was just telling me, oh, this is what you're going to love. This is super exciting. And it was exciting for him. But if you're talking to somebody they don't truly understand, and that's really not their pain point right then, they're going to tune you out, and they're not going to hear the things that are important, right? Jessica, I know you just asked that question. A number of y'all are new to the company. That's a great opportunity for you to be like, man, I'm super excited. I made this change to this company. Oh my gosh. I mean, Jessica, you've been in all these amazing masterminds that in a matter of a short amount of time that you never did before. And that's a great opportunity. You're like, oh my gosh, this is all the content and all the knowledge and the people and all the stuff that I'm doing. You've got to see what we're doing. Would you be open to talking to somebody? And then, Jessica or Julia or any of y'all leverage me. Or if I'm not the right personality for that person, then we'll find the right personality. But the best way to do that is bring in a third party as an edification call, right? I mean, Felix he's not in my front line. Quite frankly, I don't even know where Felix is, but it doesn't matter. Somebody called me and said, Elizabeth, I have somebody I need you to talk to. Are you open to that? Absolutely. And I got on a call with Felix. It doesn't always have to be you, right? So leverage us to do that. And Jessica, if I can help you, I'm absolutely going to help you. I'll meet with anybody, but I just ask a lot of questions, because every single one of us came to this company for a different reason. And every single one of us have different goals, because success looks different for each of us, but we can still all win together. And that's the power of this company.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, of course.
Since I'm new to the company and I was with my other company for 22 years, I'm constantly getting the question wherever I go, property tours, doing a deal, whatever, like, how do you like your new broker? And so that question comes up and I'm like, I love it. You know, I just didn't know what I didn't know. I don't go too much into anything. I'm not trying to solve a problem for them, but I can't figure out how to segue into that question. Or do I make a list, or do I ask them how their brokerage is doing? All I'm doing is answering a question. I'm not, because they're asking me. Does anyone have any advice for that?
I have ideas, but I'll let other people jump in.
Okay.
I got plenty, but yeah,
Mhm.
I'm open.
Jess, here's the thing about Jacqueline. She was with Coldwell Banker for 22 years, y'all. She and her husband were the top luxury team, and we've talked to her for 4 years? Through another friend of mine, Alicia Michaud. But it's the same thing, Jacqueline. People are watching you, and they're like, why in the world would Jacqueline and Daniel leave Coldwell Banker and go to EXP? And so when they're asking you these questions, say, man, I'm so excited. There's so much to unpack. I would love to sit down and see how things are going. I'm happy to share with you.
Okay.
Are you available to meet for coffee? And then ask them a lot of questions. It doesn't matter why you came to the company, right? Mm-hmm. What I do is when I'm talking to people, I'm asking questions and I'm figuring it out. And then you can it's not necessarily about you, but then you can share, oh my gosh, yeah. Well, you're wanting to do more masterminds, or luxury, for example. Like that was a big hang up with you guys. Mm-hmm. Like you should see what our luxury program's doing. And what I'm telling people right now is like, it's so fun because I'm going up against Compass agents and I'm beating out Compass agents on listings when they were supposed to be the luxury brand. EXP has so much value now that we're able to compete in those spaces, right? So I would just get a coffee meeting with them and just ask them, how's it going over there? Like, how's your business going? I know the market's a little bit weird, and then figure out where the holes are and say, well, I would love for you to look at what we're doing. Would you be open to talking to somebody? And just you build the relationship. It's like anything. You build the relationship, you're going to build the business. That's what happened with Jessica and I. We didn't know each other. We just kind of knew each other because we built a relationship, and then it opened up for the conversation, and now she's part of our family.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Tony, I know you've got some stuff.
Sure. No, you know, I tend to answer questions with questions a lot. And I think that's the way to go. So if someone were to say, hey, why'd you go to EXP? Right. Or what do you love about EXP? I think that kind of answering that with the question is saying, oh my gosh, there's so much, you know, take me forever to unpack it. Tell me this, what do you love about Coldwell Banker? Right. And then whatever they say, oh, listen, we do all that stuff. What do you hate about Coldwell Banker? We don't do any of those things, or, you know, and obviously you got to be honest, right? But, you know, and I think that helps you. The first question puts us on the same playing field. All that stuff that you're already getting, you get there, but you don't get this, and that, right? Or, hey, what do you not like? And you can speak to filling those holes again, because now you've discovered the pebble in their shoe, as Elizabeth said. So I think that's the way that I typically respond to that kind of question.
That's a good approach to it. Thank you.
You know, Jacqueline, Stacy here. Because we've been with EXP for what, 6? Oh, I froze up. Hang on 1 second. Is because we've been with EXP since last December, and we get a lot of the same questions. And I feel like it's so much to answer that I get stuck with, where do I even start?
Okay.
But I think what Tony just said is really important, is how do we flip it back to being curious about, it's kind of like what we learned earlier this week, and exactly what to say. It's like flipping it back to, why are they asking the question, you know, and flipping it back into curiosity and leaning into curiosity and asking them the questions and see what we can kind of gather, which leads us to what Elizabeth talks about, the pebble in the shoe, right? Because it's like too much to answer, almost like, you know, all the good things that we're experiencing is like, where do I even start? But all those things may not even matter to them. There may be one thing that we don't know until we ask the questions, right?
We're very lucky that realtors are very talkative, right? Like we love to talk. That's just how it is. So the minute you start just asking like a couple questions, they'll just start getting right into it, and they'll start telling you everything you need to know. And that's probably what makes it, when someone comes to you and asks you a bunch of questions about you, you want to tell them and you want to talk about yourself and talk about your problems. And then what you're going to find out is that you're not pitching EXP because they're asking you direct questions about EXP. Like the minute you ask a question, they're going to tell you some of their pain points. And then they're going to be like, wait, at EXP, like, how does this work? Like, how do you do this one thing? Because that's such an issue for me at Coldwell Bank or wherever. And so you don't have to bash the brokerage they're at, and you don't have to hype up EXP all that much. You just have to answer the questions that are coming your way because they'll start coming in. And that is, so yeah, I think, Tony, that's awesome. Like the minute you flip it back at them, they're just going to start talking. And then you just have to keep kind of entertaining those questions, and they'll point you in the direction that they want to go.
Thank you.
So I got a question here, Elizabeth.
Hi, Brad.
Well, this is
Speak
Kevin,
of an amazing attractor, Brad Feynman is one of the best you're gonna find.
but this is Kevin Probst talking. This is Brad now, but it's Kevin Probst.
Oh, hi, Kevin.
I want to see if you guys agreed with what was said last week with the commercial person from Louisville, where she said, I don't even bring up rev share. It just confuses the commercial agents. Later on, I'll tell them about it. Do y'all agree with that strategy?
Personally, I think it depends on the person. I ask what their priorities are. I don't usually talk rev share. Now, the calls, I had 4 meetings in person yesterday. Every single one of them sat down and said, I want to understand rev share. And so I only talked rev share then, but normally I don't unless that's something important because they don't understand it. That's my take on it.
Elizabeth, this is Brad, but I'll answer Kevin also. So I was a team leader 16 years at KW. So I've been in 5,000, 7,000 attraction meetings. And it's interesting you say that because I never, for exactly the reason you said, there was so much, we were just there to connect, basically, for me to understand them and connect. So profit share was just far too confusing at that point. It was just, they weren't going to retain it. So rarely did I talk profit share in that first meeting.
All right, well, we are like at the top of the hour. Was this helpful, guys? I know it's a little bit of a swerve from what we normally talk about, but I think it's important because it's an aspect of our company that is incredible. It's an incredible opportunity. So Felix and Tony, you guys are amazing. I know there's going to be a lot of questions. They're always accessible. I'm accessible. Let's have more conversations. And if there's other meetings and things you need to pull me into, I'm happy to do that. Cool.
Absolutely. Thank you so much again, Elizabeth. Always a pleasure hanging out with you. And yeah, it was great to meet you all. Hit me up anytime. Workplace chat, usually the best. Hit me on workplace chat. I'm happy to help you all out any way I can. Let's grow.
Let's grow. All right. You guys have an amazing Friday. Have an amazing weekend. I'll see you next week. Bye, guys.